I am delighted to be here to talk about a new series of resources, electronic, that are available in each school library in the Tompkins-Seneca-Tioga-BOCES region, as well as from remote locations like your home. With me is my colleague, Amanda Verba, who is the Coordinator of Youth Development in Tompkins-Seneca-Tioga-BOCES region and outside of our region as well. She's with me this morning to talk with you about the different ways that bullying is apparent and not apparent, and is a very subtle kind of aggression that our students are dealing with on a regular basis. So, Amanda, would you like to give us a few words about the program, the Dignity Act, and how these materials might help out?
Absolutely, I'd love to talk about that. We do a number of trainings on this quite frequently, and this is really an important topic to be discussing. We find that when we talk about bullying and cyberbullying, that it evokes a lot of emotion. This is not a topic where you just roll out education and you go about your business. This is really an emotional draw for many of us. Many of us have experienced issues in our own lives and growing up in our own childhood where we've experienced bullying or harassment in many forms. And it's a sad thing to think that that is still perpetuating itself in the lives of our children today.
Amanda, how big do you think the problem of bullying and online bullying, called cyberbullying, is?
Absolutely. Well, we know that from the studies that tell us about the scope of the problem, it's quite large. 9 out of 10 elementary students are reporting that they're being bullied. And on any given day in the United States, about 160,000 students are staying home because they are fearful of being bullied themselves.
What actually is bullying? What actually is cyberbullying?
There's a lot of confusion between bullying and just general conflict, or sort of the meanness of childhood that we've all experienced. It's definitely not conflict. Conflict is accidental. It happens, because I see the world one way and you see the world another way. And it's often unintentional, although it might feel uncomfortable for us. If we can work ourselves through conflict, we get to a better place often in our relationships. Bullying and cyberbullying is really almost a form of intentionality to harm. It's this idea that I believe and have convinced myself that I have a right that somehow I'm better than you, or that I have more power than you, or that you no longer matter to me, or that you are meaningless. And I think that the minute anybody, even great people, when we convince ourselves of that, we can do tremendous harm to others. And cyberbullying is a means by which someone might hurt or harm someone else. The saddest part about cyberbullying is that oftentimes young people don't even realize that by posting these messages on electronic communication, such as Facebook or Twitter feeds, or even texting, or submitting a photo to their Flickr account, they have no idea that what they're doing is actually harmful. Because cyberbullying, unlike bullying in person, you don't really pick up the empathy response that you would when you see someone else being harmed by your words or your actions or your deeds. It's harm at a distance, and therefore kids will continue to perpetuate it over the course of time. It also is much more powerful because it can be visited by an unlimited number of people at any given moment, because it's there in cyberspace. Anybody can go to that site and read it and see it, as can the target, which makes it that much more harmful over and over and over again when they're visiting those sites.
Amanda, the series that we've purchased for each school library, and as I said a little earlier, available outside of the school library as well, because the resources, the ebooks, are online. We have 2 series, one for elementary students entitled CyberSmarts, and we also have another series of ebooks for secondary students called Teen CyberSmarts. What role do you think these resources might have in raising awareness on the part of students and teachers and their parents?
I think really some of the key pieces of education that we need to give teachers and parents and students about the issues around cyber safety is really this idea that being digital citizens, this idea of a digital citizenship, that there is this idea of a community that's being built through these mechanisms online, and that we need to care for that community. And so we need to understand what peer aggression is. We need to understand that we still have to have empathy when we're online for others. We need to understand that there is some privacy concerns, not just for ourselves, but also for the people that we have a community with, whether it be fellow students or people in our school or in our neighborhood. I also think that young people, teachers, and adults need to communicate the message that we need to be held accountable for those messages that we post online. And I think that the CyberSmarts program that you're rolling out, along with the Teen CyberSmarts, is really a key educational component to creating this common language around being digital citizens, positive digital citizens in our world.
These resources were partially funded by federal funds through the LSTA Grant process. Delighted that we were able to have that grant to help us out financially. So Amanda, before we close here, would you make just a little bit of a connection between all of this and the Dignity Act and the training that is going on through your office?
Absolutely. The New York State Dignity Act came into effect July 1st, 2012, and that really mandated schools to put on their radar quite intentionally the social and emotional well-being of their students. It created safe spaces where young people, all young people, have the opportunity and the right to a caring learning environment. And so clearly a program like this will support those efforts and give sort of a one-stop shop for educators and parents and young people to go to get positive information about how to create a community in their schools so that all kids can succeed.
Thank you. Thank you for the information, and thank you for sharing your expertise in this area, Amanda, and I'm delighted to be working with you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Jane, for having me.
So now we'll move to learning about the accessing of the ebooks from the Tompkins, Seneca, Tioga, BOCES Regions School Library Catalog. As you can see here, there are links to each and every school in our region, and every one of those sites has access to the CyberSmarts and the Teen CyberSmarts ebook collection. So, to demonstrate, I am going to go to Ithaca Boynton Middle School's collection, and I am going to click on the catalog button, and right here in the Find Book button, I'm going to put in Teen CyberSmarts, which, as you know, is the name of the series. Click, and here are all of the titles listed out. And I think that I would like to see Teens Avoiding Predators Online. I will click on that, and here is information about that particular title in that series. Here are different places to find additional information. And finally, click here to read this book. I click, and there is one of the books in the series. Now, if I would like to open the bookshelf to see the entire series, I would click on Open the Bookshelf. And here you can see, in especially graphic form, the different books and the covers for each. But I'm still interested in Teens Avoiding Predators Online. I click that. It loads. And I have many options in front of me when I view full screen. And start. So as you can see, the text is here along with pictures and vocabulary words, learning more, video clips, instructional support, and websites. You can track your process. You can track your progress through this particular book and others, so there's assessment capabilities. You can also create profiles and log in so that you can make notes or you can follow your thinking, etc. The final piece is at the bottom of the screen where there is a next page option. And here you are exposed to the table of contents, the browsing capability of just kind of thumbing through to see what you'd like. And you can just view the book and you can view printable items. Finally, for citation purposes, there are two in the MLA format as well as the APA format. So, that is your Teen CyberSmart collection. In addition to that, we have the CyberSmarts collection, which is for the elementary schools. And this is also available through Boynton Middle School, and we had access through that Follett catalog. So it's essentially the same setup as the Teen CyberSmarts. You select the book you want, you open it up, it loads, you view full screen, you start, and text written at the elementary school level, a vocabulary aspect, enrichment activities, learning more, video clips, instructional support, as well as resources of websites. Tracking of progress is possible. You can create your own profile, and you can also work your way through the different titles. Citation information on the bottom, and table of contents, browse pages, view the book, and see printable items. So the setup is essentially the same, however it contains different reading levels. One important aspect of the supplemental materials here is the listen button.
Chapter 1. Hanging out and one of your friends asks, "Who was that guy in that movie?"
As you can see, with headphones, you can listen to the text as well.